Some brand new spy photos just emerged from the interior of the upcoming 2021 Ford F-150. Hi, my name is Eric. I make videos on future cars and trucks. If that's interesting to you, consider subscribing. I've also got a Discord chat. These photos come from Autoblog, so let's analyze them and compare them to the current interior of the F-150. The very first thing that I notice is this big screen in the center of the dash. This looks to be about an 8-inch screen, perhaps a little bit more. Probably Ford Sync, and it does seem to be the newest version of Ford Sync, which is Sync 3. I don't know if they're going to release something even more updated in 2021. I guess we're going to have to wait and see. Another thing that I notice is 6 buttons across the top of the screen. I'm going to guess those are probably for presets that you can use for radio, entertainment, anything else like that. Now my guess is that this is the Platinum version or an equivalent model for the 2021 because we've got this what looks to be like leather or some sort of imitation brown leather on the dash with stitching. It actually looks quite nice. This looks like a more premium model. We're also seeing some exterior pieces too that sort of lead me to believe that this is probably a more premium edition. On the lower part of the screen is the 2019 limited edition, and this has got a lot of leather in it too. So looking at the dash and just sort of comparing the two, there are some pretty big similarities between the outgoing model and the incoming one. Right below the screen there are 2 knobs. I believe these are also media control knobs like the current version, so you've got your volume control. I certainly hope they keep that. I don't like vehicles that just have a digital volume control on the screen. Not a big fan of that. It's really important to me to have your physical volume knob. And then below that we've got the heating and ventilation controls, which also look very similar to the current version. So it looks like Ford wants to keep things quite similar. The familiarity I think is really important between the outgoing model and the incoming one. This is Ford's biggest selling model. In fact, it's probably the most popular vehicle sold in North America right now. So they definitely want to have an evolutionary approach, not something completely revolutionary. Now to the right, we've got a cigarette lighter or a 12-volt accessory adapter, I think you might call it nowadays, depending on if you like smoking or not. One thing I also notice is that the vents in the dash are still in this vertical type mode. They seem quite similar too. The overall center console, the display shape is very similar too. It is essentially square, but it has a little bit of these rounded bits on the corner. Now one thing that I noticed that is different from the 19 is the centerpiece. It looks like brushed aluminum going all the way from the instrument cluster all the way to the right hand side to the glove box. And what's really interesting here is that it appears we have maybe 2 glove boxes. It's a little bit difficult to say. The bottom one, I can see a button on it, or rather a latch. On the top one, you can't quite see what's going on there, but it looks to be pretty big. I'm hoping that this is actually a double glove box. That would be pretty nice because, hey, who doesn't want more storage? And this is the big truck. There should be plenty of storage inside, right? Now looking next to the steering wheel, there is a knob. I'm going to guess that this is the same drive select mode knob that is in the current vehicle where you can select between 2-wheel, 4-wheel high and low and so forth. The steering wheel itself seems to have some nice stitching on it, and it seems to also have some revised buttons. Now the biggest difference, of course, is that the new model, the 2021, appears to have a full-on digital display. I don't know if this is going to be common across all of the F-150 lineup. My guess actually is yes, because the industry is moving towards full digital displays, and there's one main reason behind that, sort of 2, but the main reason is cost. Now that the cost of displays, LED displays, have come down so much, it's actually cheaper just to slap in an entire LED display than create a traditional display, an analog type style with gauges that move, or needles that move. The other main reason is you can have a lot more configurability of what goes on the display, so you can display different things like your media center information, your navigation, different stats about the vehicle like heat, temperature, all that kind of stuff. Here is a different shot from outside the vehicle. You can still see the digital display. So whatever they're testing, whatever this vehicle is, and I think it's actually quite close to production, is definitely digital. Another thing that tells me that this is fairly close to production is the fact that we have this leather or faux leather, I'm not quite sure what it is, on top of the dash. My guess is it's fake. So that probably is not going to be in any kind of test mule. This looks to be something very, very close to the final version of what we're going to get. My guess is that this is a pre-production prototype vehicle. I did find a couple more shots of the exterior, and one thing that I had a hypothesis about in the last video, which is linked up here, it's all about the exterior, is the fact that this is going to be a solid rear axle. I was pretty sure about that, but looking at this shot over here, it's very clear that they are going to retain the solid rear axle. There's plenty of good reasons for that. I think that's a really smart move. Now, one of the commenters on my previous video said that the most important thing to them in terms of upgrading the truck in 2021 is going to be the features that are available. Things like Apple CarPlay, I guess more advanced Bluetooth, safety features, things like that. So let me know down below in the comments what you are most looking forward to. And also hit me up on Instagram, it's right over here, if you've got any leads, you got any spy photos, and if you're a 3D artist and you can help me come up with some renders of the truck, that would be pretty cool too. I've got some really good renders here. Well, I got some renders from a viewer on Instagram. I'm gonna link him down below here. Here is what he thinks that the upcoming 2021 model is going to look like. Now, there's two videos up on screen right now. One of them is on the upcoming Ford Bronco. It's going to debut in March, not officially confirmed, but I should be there. My name is Eric. If you like this video, please subscribe, and I will see you very soon.